This is a difficult video for me to film. I've been watching Tati for years, and let's say that my expectations about this palette. Hello! In this video we will talk about the Tati Beauty palette, the much loved, much raved, very reviewed palette released by Tati Westbrook on the 25th of October. In this video I will create this eye look that I'm wearing just now. I will also talk to you about the experience of receiving the palette, what do I think of it, and details like that. I was lucky enough to order one. So I ordered it in the UK and the palette was $48. The postage and packaging was $9.95. Tax was $9.60, so it got me to a total of $67.55. So that's quite expensive, and although the palette comes with a lot of shades, I still think it was a bit pricey. Now, considering the fact that the brand is new, I do understand why the price point had to be more towards the higher end. At the same time, it is expensive, at least for me. It's actually the most expensive makeup item I've ever bought for myself. So I ordered this palette on the 25th of October at 6 p.m. UK time. I got a confirmation text message at 6:48 p.m. on the same day, and on the 30th of October my order has been shipped. So that was only 5 days after I ordered it, which, considering to the amount of orders they had, is not bad at all. And then I received it on the 6th of November, so it took about 7 days for it to come from the US, so I'm quite impressed with that. The condition it arrived to me was absolutely flawless. Everything was intact in it. The mirror, although very big, it was fine. It arrived in this black simple box. I'd had brown paper instead of bubble wrap, which is very environmentally friendly. It has a beautiful picture of Tati on the box, which is very sweet, and a beautiful quote at the bottom of the box. The palette comes in this beautiful slip, but I do have to say, I don't like the fact that the ingredients and the details of this palette are written on the slip rather than at the back of the palette, simply because now I have to keep the slip as well, because I want to know what the ingredients were at the time I purchased the palette, because cosmetic companies sometimes update their formula and then they change the ingredient list on the packaging. So you want to have a record of what you bought exactly. If you want to read the analysis ingredient for this palette to see if there are any harmful ingredients in it, also details of manufacture and things like that, including a thing that kind of bothers me, which is the expiry date, then please head to lipstick.cafe and read my article on it. The video would have been way too long if I included that as well. I will link it down below, so please check that out for details, as I've just mentioned. I'm not terribly happy with the packaging, as I've mentioned in my first article about this palette. I think it looks a bit... doesn't have anything that is particularly special. I do appreciate the sleek, sort of velvety feel, but at the same time I really don't like the font on the front of the palette. I just think that it's too contemporary and without any personality. I wish Tati would have put her handwritten signature on it, the XO's Tati. I think that would have made it feel so much more special and unique, you know? I do love the idea of this just being like a book. It feels pretty heavy, and you'll see while I do my eye look in just a few minutes that although I love the size of the mirror, it is really heavy to hold in your hand. So if you plan on using it like that, also because it doesn't, oh my god, also because it doesn't really stay open, it is a bit awkward to hold and handle. I'm not a complete fan of really heavy makeup. I know so many people love it. I just feel it's heavy. If I ever have to travel, this weighs a lot. If I ever have to hold it in my hand to use the mirror, it weighs a lot. I love the concept of the palette, which is to have the same shade in different textures. And if you want to understand more what texture neutral means, monochromatic and all those terms, again, please head to my article because I do explain that as well. But I love the idea of the same shade in different textures, but I'm not going bananas. In natural daylight, you can't really see the delicate shimmer and the sequin shades, which to me, it's really sad. The metallics, I will show you comparisons with different palettes and you'll see what I mean. The metallics are metallics. They're beautiful, but, you know. And then the glitter row is beautiful, is very, very beautiful, but it sort of goes everywhere and it's a bit difficult to use with a brush because it fluffs a bit. It's difficult to use with my finger, although it applies really, really, really beautiful with my fingers. The problem with my fingers is that, as you'll see in the tutorial I just filmed for this look, I accidentally put it under my eye as well. I accidentally touch various areas that I don't want the glitter on, and I mean, I don't have long nails. I shouldn't struggle. So to me, this glitter is not detailed glitter. It is beautiful. I was completely mesmerized when I opened this palette because I opened it in artificial light and it looked really, really beautiful, and I will insert a video of it in artificial light so you understand what I mean. I do have to say that with the first video she ever posted about the palette, I did feel a bit not really excited about the color choices. I know Tati's not particularly, you know, she doesn't really love bright, vivid colors because they are really difficult to wear, and to be honest, not many of us really wear them or manage to pull them off. And I do like this. I love the idea that it's an everyday look that you can also glamour up. I love it. But at the same time, I do feel like this specific section, this area here, is too much. I know so many people will disagree with me, but it just feels like this section, the browns, it's just a bit too much. Maybe perhaps because we have them in the different textures, so you see so much brown. But you can watch my video about Scott Barnes and Tati that I have on my channel to see my opinion about browns. I think you can play so much with the depth of it, the depth of colour, by the way you blend, by the way you use it. I don't think we need so much brown. So I do have to say that while this row is probably the most popular with everyone using this palette, I do love the sequin, which I can't really see it on my eyelids, at least not in natural daylight. And yeah. The first thing that I'm doing is using matte aura on my entire eyelids to cover any veins that are showing through my skin and to fill in any fine lines that my eyelids might have to ensure smooth application of the eyeshadow and to make sure that everything will blend in seamlessly. I did notice that this palette has a lot of fallout, so I am using tapping motions rather than spreading the eyeshadow around in order to try and prevent the fallout from going into my eyes. I am using matte aura in my inner corner and under my eyes as well. Then what I like to do in any eye look is to use a brown shade in the outer corners and in the hood area of my eye to try and give the illusion that I have more depth into my eyelids, that my eyes are more open, and that I have more eyelid space. To do that, I am using matte aura. Here my arm gets quite sore from holding the palette, which is quite heavy. So do keep in mind that although it has a large beautiful mirror, it is heavy to hold and it doesn't stay open unless you hold it open. So that can make things quite difficult. Then I'm using a smaller crease brush, adding some matte ritual to emphasize even more shadow and definition to my eyelids. Then I'm going in with a larger brush to make sure everything is blended in seamlessly. My hands get quite sore again. Now I'm using a flat brush to add some sequin soothe. The sequin row is my absolute favourite in the palette, but unfortunately the beautiful sequin effect is not visible on the eyelid in the daylight, which to me is quite disappointing. I am using tapping motions like Tati recommended, but I still do not see it in the daylight, so I'm pretty sad about that because it does look absolutely stunning in the palette. I am going in with some matte soothe under my eyes to try and make everything look smooth and smoky. And with the same flat brush, I am going into sequin ritual in the outer corners. I am using metallic aura in the inner corner, but it looks pretty disappointing as it doesn't have any vibrancy or pigmentation and it looks more satin than metallic. So I am going back in with my finger and hope that it will look better. But unfortunately, in my opinion, the palette lacks an intense highlight shade for the inner corners. Using my finger with gently tapping motions, I am adding ritual glitter, and I'm adding a very sheer amount of glitter only to give that beautiful, sophisticated and elegant effect. Unfortunately, because I was using my finger, I did accidentally transfer some glitter under my eye. This is how much glitter I have left on my fingertip. And now I'm trying to clean the accidental added glitter under my eye with some Bioderm micellar water on a cotton pad. And now I'm adding more glitter from Soothe this time, which is much lighter than the Ritual one, in the inner corners of my eyes in hope that I will create an ombre effect. I'm getting quite frustrated about the whole cleaning process. I always do my base first and then the eyeshadow because I do have really hooded eyes, so I mainly work with the area around my mobile lid, and I find it difficult to add foundation and concealer afterwards. Adding more matte soothe under my eyes. And with an eyeliner brush, I am using the Matte Memory shade, which is a gorgeous, gorgeous intense black. I'm trying to line my eyes with it, but because I've added the glitter beforehand, it doesn't really pick up on my eyelid very well, which is a bit sad because, well, I don't want to only use it if I don't have any glitter under. This is the final look, which although it was a bit frustrating to create, it does look stunning and very, very beautiful. So this is the eye look I've created. I zoomed out again so you can better see how it looks from afar. It got quite frustrating at the end, but that is my own fault because I accidentally applied the glitter with my finger under my eye as well. So we will do a wear test now and I will see you in a few hours. Hello! It's been now over 12 hours since I've applied this eyeshadow. I do apologise for the bad light, I don't have studio lighting. I do apologise as well for the noise that you hear in the background. It is really, really heavy rain now in Scotland outside, and there's not really a way for me to cover that because it's really noisy, it's quite stormy. So please bear with me. Here's a close-up of how my eyeshadow looks now. It's faded a lot. The black eyeliner has transferred on the upper lid and also bled quite a bit under my eye. There are also tiny black flakes under my eyes and a lot of glitter fallout. Both the big glitter and the smaller glitter in the sequin shade. I do have a bit of black fallout on my nose, which is a bit weird. Doesn't usually happen to me, so I have to assume it's the eyeshadow. I'm not quite happy with how this looks, maybe mainly because it's only been 12 hours, so it should last for longer than that. I have to admit that I knew that this is gonna fade away, and I knew my conclusion before the wear test in this video. This is because I've been wearing this palette for about 4 days before filming this, and I've been wearing it for 15-16 hours even, so I did know that it fades quite a bit, and this actually looks the best so far. I think mainly because I've been just in the house and I haven't been walking outside a lot. I haven't been working here and there. I haven't been, you know, going out and do bits and pieces. I've been just inside, so I haven't been exposed to humidity and weather and walking and so on. The eye look does look absolutely gorgeous in this artificial light. I do have to say the entire palette, I feel like it looks prettier in artificial light. Even the sequin shades look beautiful, which, as I mentioned before, in natural daylight you can't really see the fine glitter in them, because it does look beautiful for the first 8 hours. It does. It looks flawless. After 8 hours it just slowly goes down, and the performance is just decreasing. After the 8-hour mark it just starts to fade, which to me is a huge problem, because let's say you use this palette for your makeup routine all the time, which to me, it sounds like Tati created this palette with that in mind, wanting to help our routine, and so this palette is for everyday use. But let's say you do your makeup with it 7 a.m. and then you go to work and you get out of work at 5, and then you go out with some friends, or maybe you have a party to go to, or maybe you even have a work event to go to. What you do if your eyeshadow is just creasing away? This does raise a huge question for me, and I'm wondering why, because Tati would have never released the product unless she knew it was as best as possible. So I am just wondering why this is happening to me. This is the biggest disappointment with the palette, the fact that it's not really long wearing. I haven't noticed this problem with other people because I did throw a quick look here and there to other reviews, so I'm a bit confused why this is happening to me. Maybe it's because I have hooded eyelids. Please let me know in the comments down below if any of you have worn this eyeshadow for a really long time, because 12 hours is not really that long. And it's very weird. It's almost like there are bald spots on my eyelids. That being said, I do love the fact that the palette has been made in the USA. I really appreciate this. I also really like that it contains both daytime and nighttime and everyday colours, also quite glamorous, you know, details you can use, such as the glitters. I also like that it's vegan and cruelty free. I really do appreciate that. The blendability of it is really good. It blends really easily and seamlessly. It almost blends for you, which is fantastic. One of my favorite things about the palette is that we do have a very work suitable, daytime suitable shade, which is the sequin aura one, which has glitter but it's very subtle, and I do have to say the elegance of this is fantastic. That very subtle lack of contrast and stark glitter, I do love these very subtle details that make it look very sophisticated and chic, and I do really appreciate that. I also really wish it had a bright shade to put in the inner corners or to highlight certain things, and I find it quite odd that Tati didn't really include that. I mean, the metallic aura, as I've mentioned while doing my eye look, it's really not that shiny or pigmented, so it is a bit odd that she didn't include something really bold that is not on the glitter line that you can use for, only because she seems to use that a lot. So these are my final thoughts on the palette. Please let me know if you want me to create more looks for you, or if you want any more details and things as such. Please remember to check the ingredient analysis and what I think of the expiry date or of the lack of it. Check my article on lipstick.cafe, it's gonna be listed down below. And again, I do have to overemphasize the fact that I'm not trying to be negative. I am trying to be as unbiased and neutral as possible. Tati did mention in her release video that she wants feedback and she wants our opinion so she can improve the product in the future, and my main feedback line, I guess it would be, why does it really fade on my eyelids? I know I can use a primer, I know I can use a glitter glue, however after spending $48 on an eyeshadow palette, I wish it would perform really well without me going the extra mile and purchasing those products again. I have to admit, I don't own an eyeshadow primer, so on top of the money I already spent to use this product, I'm not really happy to go and have to purchase a primer as well. I still like the palette, I think it looks gorgeous and it's very beautiful, and I didn't just purchase it for the sake of purchasing it. I did need a new eyeshadow palette for everyday and events and so on that is fresh and it's gonna last for a while and it's not expired. We're all guilty of that. So I'm definitely gonna keep using it, and I will try find a way of making it be a bit more long wear. I do have to say that this review was really difficult for me to film and plan, and you know, I spent hours thinking how I can put things in balance and how I can provide my opinion about it without offending and without receiving hate and without causing any issues. I am curious about what Tati will release in the future. I will definitely purchase some more and play around with it. I think she has a beautiful creative outlook on makeup, and I'm very curious to see what she will come with next. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, leave a comment down below, like, share, and check my blog lipstick.cafe. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I was useful. I hope you have a lovely rest of the day, and I'll see you soon.